Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So we're down here at the Gila River, just outside of Phoenix, next to Avondale, Arizona. Don't know how many of you guys are familiar with this place. For the longest time I had no idea this was down here. And it may not seem like it, but this place actually has some history behind it. So let's go for a walk and I'll tell you about it. Between mid-May and mid-July 1958, the county was using a pesticide to fight the pink bollworm in the, I think it was something like 65,000 acres of Arizona cotton fields. Well, it turns out there was no long-term studies done for this before they started using this chemical in here. And as we all know, jumping the gun on something like that without doing any research, it's bound to lead to some problems. The pesticide they used was called DDT. And basically what happened is they used so much of this stuff within those couple of months, they completely saturated the soil around here. And in turn, that then leached into the water that we're looking at right there, up there. Basically anywhere west of 59th Avenue leading all the way up to the Painted Rock Reservoir, the Painted Rock Dam. Now, Department of Health Services officials know that this water is contaminated, and they know that the contamination spreads so far that there are still traces of it in the milk that you buy at the store here in Arizona today. Anything that comes from a local farm, those cows have been eating hay and alfalfa from these local fields, and in turn they're consuming that stuff. Well, their excuse for that is that, oh, it's a non-action situation. So where basically they're saying, well, there's not too much of it, nobody's dying, so we're not going to do anything about it. Which, I don't know about you guys, but I don't enjoy ingesting chemicals that the government fully understands is present in the water. So this area is very, very popular for fishing. I myself come down here and fish often. I've yet to eat anything that's come out of here, but after hearing about the chemicals that they have down in here, I'm not really sure I want to. There's a good amount of people who come down here and fish, and they say if they eat it and it tastes fine and nothing's happened to them. Which, you know, good for them. I'm happy nobody's getting sick because of this, because clearly there's no signs, there's nothing up here saying, hey, this water is contaminated. Now, at one point or another, there were signs suggesting not to fish this area and not to eat out of this area, but if there's not many signs, I haven't seen any. I'm down here quite a bit, and I've yet to see anything. Another thing that bothers me a lot is everybody's garbage. You know, I don't want to be that guy and complain about modern society, but there's just no respect for anything anymore. There's literally garbage everywhere. And then people start to wonder why other natural recreational areas are getting shut down left and right. That's probably because there's teams of hundreds of people taking months at a time to clean these things up and still just scratching the surface. But no, continue to dump your garbage everywhere. and then complain when you can't go back to those places you were using as a dumpster. That right there, that spot with the water running, looks like a good place to fish. So in certain parts of this area, fishing is permitted. That's totally fine. Most people come down here to fish. Some areas of this river, though, you can actually go quail hunting, but it's a little hindered. They basically limit you to bird shot, essentially. So any kind of shotgun, 10 gauge, 12 gauge, 14 gauge, 410, you can use all those. But like I said, you're pretty well just limited to bird shot. Now the actual Painted Rock Reservoir itself, it's about 18 miles north of Gila Bend itself. That's actually closed to the public. But a majority of the wetland fowl and other little critters like turtles and stuff, they all live and hang out down there. Oh man, check this guy out. Hey buddy, I like your house. See you decorated. Nice touch. Catch a big one, buddy. Let's wander off this way. You know, all these little tiny fish. I mean, the chemicals haven't really seemed to affect the wildlife too much. They thrive out here. They're doing pretty good. I mean, people pull good-sized catfish, good-sized bass out of here. I mean, it seems like they're doing all right. And you see more of this. You see what I'm talking about? Do you understand my frustration? Look at this. Look at this mess. It's like people come out here, they treat it like their backyard, and then they just leave. Now, who's gonna clean this up? Who? Soda cans and beer bottles and garbage everywhere. And a fish. Yeah, I'm definitely doing some fish when I come back. I don't understand people. Let's go back this way. And there's tons of line everywhere. I will say this though, every time I've come down here, I've either found a new lure or other type of fishing equipment. Oh look, somebody decided they were going to try net fishing, caught a bunch of catfish, couldn't get them out, so let them all die. That's cool. These armored catfish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a dozen fish right there. Any of y'all listen to Slipknot? You ever heard that song, People Equal Ish? Yeah. They weren't wrong. They weren't wrong at all. Let's see what we got going on this way. we're gonna walk around, see if I can't find a way around this water, because right now I'm kind of on a little peninsula, sort of surrounded. But that's cool. We'll find a way around. There's beautiful little ledges and stuff everywhere. Too bad for every one beautiful thing here, there's 10 pieces of garbage sitting on the ground. I think I'm gonna make a routine of every time I come back out here, I'm gonna bring a garbage bag. I might not clean the whole thing by myself, but I'll at least clean up the areas that more people are frequenting. So back to the story. In total, the amount of pesticides that were dumped in this area was 500,000 pounds. 500,000 pounds for 65,000 acres. You know the worst part about all of that? They didn't kill that stupid little pink bullworm. It's still there. It's still in the fields. It's still eating up crops. So that's why when new fads and stuff like, vaping come out, you shouldn't jump on the bandwagon right away. Give it about 10 years. See how many people die first. Run, bunny. See, and there is a good amount of wildlife out here. Like, they do all right. So I'm hoping that maybe within the past few years, some of this stuff has kind of either diluted itself into non-existence, or it's just left the ecosystem of this area altogether. So, starting with that 65,000 acres of cotton field, the contaminated soil eventually leached out to over 100,000 acres. Okay, and that's why we're still pulling it out of our crop fields and pulling this stuff out of milk that we're all drinking. I mean, not all of y'all might be here in Arizona, but for the ones of us that are, my friends and families and colleagues that take the time out of their day to watch this stuff, like, you're drinking pesticide, yo. The chemical they were using, it's called DDT. Again, it's DDT. It's actually a derivative of another compound called DDE. There's that rabbit again. Yeah, it's a derivative of a chemical called DDE, which is known by a good handful of health and safety organizers to be a probable, in quotations, probable human carcinogen. Now, it's a big word. Basically, they know it'll cause cancer, and they didn't care. I smell skunk butt. I smell strong skunk butt. Yes, as far as the stuff we're consuming, as far as the stuff that their customer base is consuming, it's going to be real hard to sell that cotton when everybody you're trying to sell it to is dead. So last time I was out here, it was nighttime. Me and a buddy were doing some night fishing. We kept hearing stuff in the bushes behind us. And first and foremost, it was dark, so we're paranoid. But we started paying attention to it, following it around, seeing where it was coming from. And we come to find out we were being visited by a little baby skunk. He was a cute little guy. Like, he didn't seem threatened. He wasn't worried about us. He was just getting as close as he could and turn around and run back in the bush. Get a little bit closer, turn around, and run back in the bush. So I know they're out here. And I know they've mated recently because he was a little guy. But I've yet to see mama or anything big enough to have given birth to that thing. I really don't want to get sprayed. smell it. It's strong too. A little stronger farther back this way. Try not to get sprayed here. I don't see anybody. I don't see any tracks. I don't see any scat. So I think we'll be all right. As you can see, there's plenty of water here. But if you head further down past like Estrella Parkway and stuff, it starts to percolate back into the soil. That's a good amount of water in here. I mean, the water level's not too much lower than it usually is. There's trash. But a lot of that could be due to there's 2 wastewater treatment plants that dump into this river. It's giving it a pretty good continuous flow. I mean, y'all wouldn't believe that this is yeah, y'all wouldn't believe this is just 10 minutes out of town. It's not even out of town. It's like 10 minutes from my house. Oh man, I need to fish, yo. These guys are popping everywhere. So the scientists who have actually studied this area estimate that 5,000 tons of this chemical has made its way down into this river, and that's basically what's leading west and out towards that Painted Rock Reservoir. Man, I'd really love to get over there and check that out, but it's closed. So by the 70s, the Gila River was the most DDT contaminated stream in the western United States. And in the 80s, the federal wildlife officials found that DDE residue in birds collected in Goodyear and Avondale areas are among the highest in the nation. If that doesn't throw up red flags as to, okay, you know this, why aren't you doing anything about it? I don't know what will. Because clearly the people who are supposed to be looking after this stuff aren't. So it's up to people like us who aren't paid to look after this stuff and just actually care about this stuff to do something. I mean, there's people all over the world coming up with ways to clean up their contaminated waterway systems. And one of the most thriving economies on the planet, we can't figure out the same thing. I mean, you've got guys in little fishing villages who have nowhere near the resources and access to equipment that we have, yet we're just gonna let this sit here like this? Like, I don't understand that. I hope that money's going towards something really good. I mean, look at this. If you get the trash out of your head, if you mentally Photoshop all of this garbage out of here, I mean, you guys haven't even seen half of the animals that I've seen scurry by, fly by, run by, swim by. But you've seen some. And I mean, this place is beautiful. It really is. Like, you'd never believe that this was in Arizona, at least not in the southern part. I mean, I'm literally surrounded by desert except for where I'm standing right now. Some of you may know that water is a commodity out here in the desert. Okay? We do everything we can to hold on to as much of it as humanly possible. So, why not just let, one of our closest sources of water become this irreparably contaminated, nasty, disgusting slop? I could spend all day talking about how irritated I am about that, but what do we got? That's not a raccoon. What is that? Is that a little skunk foot? I don't know if that'll show up on camera. Look at those little feet. I'm gonna follow these and get sprayed in the face. It's gonna be great. Little bird feet. See if we can bounce around over here. dog tracks. And you see these tire tracks? Funny thing is, this area is closed to vehicles, but you come down here on a Friday or Saturday night, every idiot with a side-by-side is out here blasting music, tearing up the ground. There's a bunny rabbit under that bush. There he goes. Like, I understand that, you know, people want to enjoy these areas, people want to enjoy these places, but if you're destroying it, what's the point? You come and enjoy it today just to watch it perish tomorrow? I mean, right around the 4th of July, in fact, I believe it was the 4th of July, I came down here, did some kayak fishing. It was a beautiful morning. It was quiet. There wasn't that many people. As I was leaving, cars were showing up. People were pulling out barbecues, boxes of fireworks. You would see, you know, people carrying chairs and stuff. Like they were gonna make a day down here. It was great. Well, a buddy of mine knew I was coming down here. He calls me a couple hours, you know, after I had left already, and he asked me, he's like, yo man, are you still down there? Is everything all right? And I was like, yeah, why? What's up? What's going on? And he's all, well, the Gila River's on fire. I was like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, the Gila River's on fire. So I check all my local news, and sure thing, Gila River was on fire. People came down here with, like I said, their boxes of fireworks, sending them flying in every direction, even though Arizona is constantly under heavy fire restriction. Yeah, let's go ahead and send these things out. You know, not care where they go. And no accountability. Like, nobody got charged for that. Nobody got in trouble for that. So what does that mean? Next year, or any other holiday that gives people an excuse to let off fireworks, we'll probably have another fire down here. I could literally look out my back door and see smoke rising from the area I was no more than a couple of hours before. And that was while the superstitions were still on fire. Arizona is basically a giant ball of kindling. These people don't have the common sense to be like, hey, you know, maybe I should play with fire. Maybe I shouldn't send these little explosive devices flying through the air without keeping track of where they're going. But, you know, who am I? I'm just Steve, right? Just this guy that walks around out here. So I hope you guys are enjoying the walk. I was hoping I'd run into more little critters to show you guys, but it seems like they're all hiding. Where you guys at? Look guys, guess what? More garbage. More dead fish. Why catch them if you're not going to do something with them? Just put them back. Oh, look, two more. Somebody's flexing their rights out here. I didn't bring a gun today, so I won't be doing none of that. But it's nice to hear. As long as I don't hear anything whizzing by my head, I'll be alright. Well, everybody, I think that's just about gonna wrap up this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you take something away from this video. And please don't let this discourage you from coming down here. Like I said, it's absolutely gorgeous over here. I come down here as often as I can. You know, there's not really many spots like this in this area to where we can come in and enjoy what little bit of nature there is to be had out here. I mean, Don't get me wrong, like the mountains and the dirt and sand and everything, that's fine. I guess for some people, they like cactuses and stuff. I'm more of like a trees and water kind of guy. Get me up in the hills and some mountains and some pines. I am right where I belong. But yeah, this is my little, it's my little getaway. When I can't, you know, take the 2, 3, 4 hour drive up north, I'll just come down here. It's 10 minutes from my house. So thank you everybody so much for coming to hang out with me. Thank you for watching this video, and until the next one, come outside. I'll be here. I mean, it's beautiful out here if you can get past all the garbage. There's legitimately a pair of socks dangling from a branch over there. Yeah, dangly socks. That's gross. Let's go.